IVM.
मैं एक मास्टरपीस बनाना चाहता हूँ
पॉडकास्ट,
जिसको दुनिया याद रखे.
बॉलीवुड पॉडकास्ट, जिसमें हम पुरानी मूवीज को रिव्यू करेंगे और उनके ऊपर बात करके बकर बकर करेंगे.
हाँ, has it aged well?
ओके.
Hello. You said it prematurely.
I know, yes.
Yeah, he took that pause and I was like, okay, this
Can you guess why we're not professional actors? Hello and welcome to
No,
Has
that was
It
good,
Aged Well?
guys. That was good.
Thank you so much. हमारे गेस्ट ने हमको पहले ही बढ़ावा दे दिया है इस एपिसोड में. Welcome to Has It Aged Well. That quote was from the 2013 film Lootera. It completes 10 years this year. And to talk about Lootera with me in the studio is my co-host Urjita.
hello.
And with us we have a very special guest. I've been wanting to have him for a very long time on this show. I follow the page he runs very religiously, and it's only growing. And I want to talk to him a lot about Lootera as well as what he does for this. I don't want to call it a page. It's much more than that. Now he's the founder of Humans of Cinema. Please welcome to Has It Aged Well, Harshit Bansal.
Thank you so much, Abbas. Thank you so much. And I told you, like, I am a big fan of your podcast. Like, you know,
I
I
know.
think you guys are doing. मतलब इंडिया में फिल्म पॉडकास्ट इतनी कम है तो मतलब बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि मतलब यू नो दैट मतलब इन जनरल लाइक फिल्म बेस्ड कंटेंट इतना कम बनता
That's
है
true.
मतलब
Yeah,
उस चीज़
yeah.
में आई फील लाइक पीपल
Yeah.
maybe don't think that you know it is valuable enough
Yeah.
कि उसमें टाइम दिया जाए
Yeah.
पर मतलब आप लोग तो इतने लॉन्ग फॉर्म वीडियोस बनाते हैं
Some people say too long, but we're not going to budge. We'll keep going. But I met you at IFP over the weekend.
Yeah.
And this is what you said. You said that it's a niche within a niche, the film page, film podcast
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
So there's a lot of scope to grow here.
100%.
Which I totally agree with.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Humans of Cinema, which is
Thank you so much.
which I witnessed as an Instagram page purely, and then since I've been following it, it's only grown. We were talking before we started that you had already done few podcasts, but now you do it with some really big names which are out there. So we'll talk about Lootera and all of that, but I also wanted to get to know how you run Humans of Cinema and what is your objective with it. So what should we do? Should we do a little bit of Lootera, then go to Humans of Cinema? Should we do Humans of
Should
Cinema?
let's do Humans of Cinema
Okay.
first, right?
okay let's do this let's connect Humans of Cinema with Lootera
Oh, nice.
because I don't know if you saw but मतलब मैं अपने पर्सनल पेज पे बहुत ही कम चीज़ें पोस्ट करता हूँ
Yeah.
but when I did an episode with Vikramaditya Motwane
Yes.
I had done like a full you know मतलब जो वाली पोस्ट होती है ना तुम्हारी की एक माइलस्टोन
Yeah.
so like doing an episode with Motwane
Yeah.
was like that
And when I
Because-
reached out to you also, the other option you wanted to do was Udan, which is also
Udaan.
a Motwane film.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
clearly you have a special place for his cinema.
yeah 100% like I'm big fan of his work and now like I've been fortunate that I've you know
Interviewed
been
him.
speaking to him a little bit and yeah I've done like 2 interviews with him recently only earlier
Nice.
also had spoken to him but yeah like he's an amazing filmmaker also a really sweet person but both Udan and Lootera had such a great influence on me. Udan because I was still in school and
Yeah.
I saw it then
Yeah.
and I was going through a really difficult time in my life at that time as a school student you know because I mean it's a whole other story but like I
Right.
had issues with like my teacher at that time
Mhm.
who was very similar to in fact Ronit Roy's character in terms of his
Wow,
physicality
okay.
and like you know like a really yeah so he's like my
Dominating,
physics
yeah.
teacher and extremely abusive मतलब वो चांटे वाटे मार देता था क्लास में like he was like that so I was going through all of that you know and I also had this kind of creative outlet I mean I did have like these creative interests that I couldn't you know pursue because of whatever
Where did you grow up?
Delhi
Okay.
completely
Okay.
but yeah so you know like Udan was that film that
Yeah.
I could really relate with in fact 2 films came out around the same time Udan and then I think a year later came out Whiplash
Right.
and then Whiplash तो वो बिल्कुल ही वो टीचर
Yeah,
स्टूडेंट
yeah, yeah,
रिलेशनशिप
yeah.
के बारे में थी so I've done in fact I have done a not a video essay but I've done like a post about like you know Udan and Whiplash and
Okay.
some kind of like similarities between them and how they became like my safe haven of sorts and then Lootera is extremely special in terms of that was a film and I saw it on the big screen when it came out I was just out of school and that film just you know it evoked something a kind of emotion in me that I hadn't really felt while watching a film I think ever in my life before that I think just the setting of it. When I think of Lootera, I think of white, I think of snow. Like that is the film. That
Yeah.
and maybe Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I still remember I was sitting in the theater. The film ended with like that. I think it ends with Sonakshi's close up when she's
Looking at the leaf.
looking at the
Yeah.
leaf,
The
and
most beautiful she has ever looked on
Agreed.
camera.
100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely her best performance even till date. And then like the credits started rolling, and I honestly वो क्लीशे साउंड करता है वो कभी कभी, लेकिन मैं बस बैठा हुआ था फिक्सेट होके थोड़ी देर के लिए और बस मैं देख रहा था कि मतलब like I knew that I'd seen something truly special.
Yeah.
And it was one of those films that kind of got me started in my love for like a very different kind of cinema.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, and ever since then I've spoken about the film multiple times on the page also. I speak about with my
Right.
friends all the time.
So, I mean, Lootera completes 10 years this year. It
Yeah.
came out in 2013. And so the only other film that we've covered that's like more recent than that was Bombay Velvet with Sucharita Tyagi. And
Oh.
I think like the reason I found Lootera interesting is I think both Lootera and Bombay Velvet, when they came out, they were not this huge success that they were not like bona fide hits.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
very quickly they found a
Their
cult
audience.
following
Yeah.
very quickly, almost like within a year or 2 years.
Bombay
So,
Velvet not so much.
I think so it does, because I've seen a lot of defenders now online of Bombay
Okay.
Velvet, and that Sucharita also on the episode was very defending the
yeah.
film a lot. The other thing I feel is with Lootera also, like Humans of Cinema, a lot of other cinema pages
Yeah.
post a lot about Lootera, right? And it's
Yeah.
got that kind of following now that probably it did not when it came out. So I don't remember correctly. Was the film? I remember it got really good reviews, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a hit, right?
So this is something that, I mean, I also was under the impression that commercially it wasn't successful. But when I was, if you heard my episode with Vikram sir,
yeah.
he said this ki a lot of people think that it was like a flop or anything, but it recovered all of its money
Okay.
Yeah.
and even made some money.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Oh.
Wikipedia figures is it was made for 32 crores and it got 46.
Yeah.
exactly.
So, yeah.
So I think that's like a big misconception. वो
Yeah.
हम लोगों को समझ नहीं आता,
Yeah.
हमको लगता है कि यार ये फिल्म रणवीर और क्योंकि शायद वो था ना कि भाई रणवीर सिंह और सोनाक्षी सिन्हा,
Correct.
which were
Yeah.
like upcoming stars.
Yeah.
Maybe there was an expectation that it should be as big as Band Baja Barat or something.
Yeah.
Didn't become that. हमको लगा flop हो गई.
So if like it recovered all its money, why do you think we never saw like more movies from like of those type coming from producers and directors?
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it was more if it recovered money. Again, I mean, I don't know much about the business of cinema and what is a key figure where you can say, oh, this film was a success. But 32-46 is not like, मैंने हमेशा पढ़ा है कि when a film earns more than double what it was made for, then it's
okay.
considered a hit,
Fair.
right? And again, I think it's an exception. Like you'll still go to someone more so now than maybe in 2013. You go up to a producer and be like, I have a film set in 1953 and it does not have a banging item numbers or does not have a thrilling chase sequence or explosions. It's a gentle love story which has elements of thrill and a cops
Yeah.
and robbers angle to it, but that's not the focus of it.
Yeah.
There's not something, हर 10 मिनट पे एक ट्विस्ट नहीं आ रहा है, it's very hard to sell it. And I read somewhere that Lootera initially was supposed to be set in present time, but then
Yeah.
later on they made it just post independence.
And that made so much
Such
difference.
a huge difference to the
100%.
treatment.
Yeah.
So यार ये, I mean, I don't know, I would love every film to be as detailed and as nice and as beautiful as Lootera, but we just don't live in that world, and I don't know, I'm not that higher up that I can give those answers, but from whatever few creative people I have spoken to, and you probably will be a better person to shed light on this, it's hard to sell a unique concept which you can and then to have
Something
the
that is a slow burner, I think. We are
slow burn,
not
and
a
then
big
to
fan
have
of.
the gumption to pull it off.
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
Like maybe October was a slow burner that I liked, but I like Lootera a little more than October. Maybe
Yeah.
because like plot wise there was a lot happening over here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to say, right? I mean, because if you see Lootera now, there's nothing about it that seems, I mean, in today's sensibility, especially when people have been accustomed to so much international cinema and
Yeah.
all of these, the web series content,
Yeah.
most of it has been pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So with the current sensibility, it doesn't even seem like a film that feels like a slow burner even, or doesn't even seem like a film that is even slightly art house. It's like a very commercial film with like 2 big stars.
Yeah.
And मतलब ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा एक लौती चीज़ जो उसमें मिसिंग है वो एक वो डोला रे डोला वाला सीक्वेंस अगर वो डाल देते हैं कोई सोनाक्षी सिन्हा का when they are showing
या ब्रिटिशर के साथ एक वन ऑफ ऐसे डाल देते कि ओ
exactly
तुम्हारी जूती के पीछे ही रहेंगे हम, समथिंग लाइक दैट.
हाँ या फिर एक लगान टाइप का गाना डाल देते हैं बार-बार हाँ टाइप का with
Yeah.
Sonakshi Sinha's father.
Urjita, can you guess what was the highest grossing film of 2013? We have covered a version of this film on our show. Very
Version of
recently.
this film.
If I would have gotten it, तो कितना सरप्राइज होता तो सच बता. 2013.
Yeah, 2013. We want to take a guess?
Okay, the lead actors, are they relevant today?
Yes,
Relevant.
very much.
2013.
ये जवानी है दीवानी was 2011, right?
Yeah.
No, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani is on the list, but it was the 4th highest grossing. Not
अच्छा, it's
the
2013
Oh.
only.
Not the 3rd.
Hint.
we-
Give more hint.
But Dangal was 2013, no.
No, then it would have been number 1. I think
Dangal
it was
was-
2014 or 15.
Dangal came on
Yeah.
later.
If I give any hint, you will get it.
There's a Chopra in it.
Oh.
Ladies versus
Actually, yeah, that's a-
Can't
no,
be.
can't be. No.
Yeah. Chopra. Okay, wait.
Vroom, vroom.
Dhoom 3.
Yes.
अच्छा.
Yes.
Wait, which Chopra is in it?
उदय चोपड़ा. ए दिलबरा ऐसा भूल गया तो मेरा नाम.
क्या मम्मी?
Dhoom 3 was the highest grossing.
Of course.
Dude, Dhoom 3 was a hit.
It was a huge hit.
Of course.
What?
Yeah.
It still is one of the highest grossing films
Yes.
of Indian cinema.
Yes.
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
Yes.
ये सिर्फ फर्स्ट डे फर्स्ट शो में कमा लिया क्या सारा उन्होंने?
No,
it had-
people are watching it irrespective, man. Like,
अच्छा, okay.
despite the
And
reviews.
it had Amir Khan, so which was a
Yeah,
huge
क्योंकि
draw.
इतना बोल रहे थे प्रेस्टीज का कॉपी किया इतना सब मीम्स
यार
बना
वही
रहे थे.
मतलब I think most people don't care about that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And Amir Khan at that time was that actor जो कि वो किसी भी फिल्म में होगा that film was
That's
making
true. Yeah.
crazy
Huge amounts of
money.
money.
Yeah.
You wanna take a guess on the second film that also stars a Khan, one of the big 3?
Tiger, one of the
वो
Tiger.
ये कौन सी रेडी
No.
नहीं
No.
जय हो नहीं.
No. So it stars one of the 3 Khans, and he's paired with perhaps the biggest female leading lady in today's time. The film got a lot of criticism for its cultural
Chennai Express.
representation.
Chennai
Yes,
Express.
yes, it was Chennai Express. Number 3 was Krish 3, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani,
3.
and Ashiki 2 was the rounded
Wow,
up the
dude.
top
Yeah.
5.
Ashiki.
It was a
So,
great
yeah.
year for Deepika.
My God, 11th highest grossing film was Grand Masti. So that's where we were at in
Wow,
2013.
very different time.
Underrated I film, I tell you. Grand Masti.
Masti.
It had a lot of layers to it.
Yeah. It had the Rosemary Marlowe joke.
Yeah.
That was Grand Masti, right? That was
I'm sure it was.
Pretty
yeah.
sure I
Oh
mean.
no, that was
just-
क्या cool है हम, one of the क्या super cool है हम, one
I
of those
mean-
films.
They've all blended into
Yeah.
one. in my head.
कोई भी WhatsApp का कोई जोक देख लो, नॉनवेज जोक उसमें
Yeah.
से आ
But the
जाएगा.
most quote-unquote artsy film in this top 11 for me would be number 8, Bhag Milka Bhag, which was like not your typical Gana Bajana type, which had something to say.
Yeah.
So how did we get here? Oh yeah.
I actually had a point. So you know how जब ये Rocky और Rani release हुआ था, I remember everybody was saying that this is probably the first time that they saw a girl like properly flirting with a guy. Like when he like वो subtle advances जब भी कर रहा था, वो shy नहीं हो रही थी या फिर वो उसको ऐसा
Right.
she was not actually she was not like being defensive.
Correct.
She was like, you know what, I'm also interested. I also
Correct.
don't mind a fling and all. So people are saying that this is like one of the very first times that they have seen something like this happening in Bollywood. But I think I watched Lootera and I feel even though Sonakshi Sinha wasn't
Yeah.
like ready for a fling or something, that is too far-fetched. But वो भी काफी मतलब she was also
Quite forthcoming.
She was quite
yeah.
forthcoming. इसको कहते chemistry.
Yeah.
But she was quite forthcoming,
yeah,
and
yeah, that's
like
true.
in fact, she was the one who was constantly, hinting towards something. She
That's
was
very
looking
true.
at him, and she was not even feeling shy. She was just like, you know what, I'm gonna look at you. I don't care.
Looking is
Yeah.
that's a very important word in this film. I think the whole film is about looking, like there's so many moments of like Sonakshi just kind of peeking at him,
Yeah.
Ranveer peeking at her.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
also the different angles, like
Yeah.
looking, मतलब ऐसा नहीं कैमरा एकदम सामने नहीं, पीछे से भी लिया है, इधर से भी दिख रहा है, like that iconic रणवीर gaze.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
still
जो
that
इतने
is
लोगों
very
का
common
Facebook
with them.
profile picture था वो time पे.
Oh really?
But yeah.
Yeah.
Urjita,
it's
did you
really
watch
nice.
it when it released initially, 2013?
No.
Was it?
I watched it for
First
the
time?
first time a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had watched
Oh
it in
nice!
bits and
You watched
pieces.
it for the first time maybe recently.
Yes.
So
For this
like,
podcast.
how do you like
Yeah,
it?
I really liked it, man.
Like on a scale
I-
of like 1 to
We are
you know,
already
Scale,
on the
yeah.
average.
Should I
So,
just reveal?
we'll do the scale at the end.
Acha, you have like a
But
scale
yeah, we have
thing.
a scale. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really liked it, and I didn't expect myself to like it so much.
Oh really?
I genuinely enjoyed it.
Despite having
Okay.
heard so many things about it.
Yeah, what was your
Yeah.
impression
I really-
without having watched the film of what the film would be?
तो मैंने सुना था आर्ट्सी फिल्म होगी, तो मुझे एक तो आर्ट्सी फिल्म मुझे हमेशा पसंद नहीं आती, जो दूसरों को पसंद आता है मुझे मोस्टली
Correct.
इतना पसंद नहीं आता कि आर्ट्सी क्या है, कम ऑन यार, ये कितना बॉईल हो रहा है, पानी गर्म करो, अभी हो गया है इसको. बट आई रियली लाइक्ड इट, एंड आई थिंक it could be because like I have a soft spot for movies set in the 1950s pre-British era, or like slightly
Post-British.
post-British era also. Technically everything right now is post-British era. I meant like around
मतलब हाँ वो
50s, yeah.
Around the
just
50s.
about.
yeah.
After,
So I really liked that angle, and man, the movie made sense to me.
and do you think it's not that artsy, right?
It's I
मतलब
mean,
as in artsy in terms of वो तो चलो
in
अपने
the
आप
in
में
It
vague
is,
word है
derogatory,
no,
derogatory sense.
no, like it's not.
Yeah, it's quite
It's
accessible.
Bollywood.
It's quite
It is,
accessible,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And there's so
definitely.
much music in the film, यार. मतलब हर 2
Yeah.
मिनट बाद गाना होता है एक.
Correct,
मतलब
yeah.
उससे ज़्यादा बॉलीवुड क्या हो सकता है?
That's true.
It's also, I mean, they use old songs also very beautifully
Oh.
in the film.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
But this is another thing I wanted to talk to you about. Do you think our threshold for what is arty and what is mainstream
Yeah.
is getting more and more polarized now, especially because of social media? That social media has made this sense that any film that takes its time or is even a little more gentle in its pacing, oh, it's artsy. You know, we want masala, we want big action set pieces. And then there are also, you know, there's this whole thing where they'll take a portion of Linklaters before sunrise, but they'll put like a Ghulam Ali ghazal behind it, you know, and then it's like, oh, this is pure cinephilia.
Yeah. वो Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind के वीडियोस में गीत जब भी मैं
Yeah,
उसका डालते
exactly.
हैं,
Yeah.
तो कितना बात करती हो, अबे यार वो ऐसे नहीं बात करेगा. जिम कैरी को तो कितना बात करती है, तो थकती नहीं है.
Look, you know what? The people who are dubbing at UTV movies would disagree with you because that's exactly how they would dub it.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
Haven't you seen the Hindi dubbed films on UTV movies?
Not that many.
Really?
Yeah.
I have seen like them use kamakal a lot.
What kamakal?
Kamakal.
यार
तुम कितने कमकल हो?
I don't remember ये मेरे को किसने याद दिलाया था अभी recently, but I remember Hancock, if you've seen the Will Smith film.
हाँ.
उसमें ना एक बहुत कूल डायलॉग है, मतलब वैसे वो बहुत वैसी चीज़ी फिल्म है बहुत ज़्यादा, लेकिन उसमें बड़ा कूल डायलॉग है. लास्ट में ऐसा होता है कि वो हैनकॉक हैज बेसिकली हैज लाइक सुपर पावर्स, ठीक है, और ना उसके हाथ में ही इज एट अ ग्रोसरी स्टोर एंड देयर इज अ रॉबरी हैपनिंग देयर, ठीक है. ही वेरी कूलली सेज, इफ यू रिमेंबर, टुवर्ड्स द एंड, योर गन वर्सेस माय स्निकर्स बार, लेट्स सी हु विन्स, समथिंग लाइक दैट, एंड देन ही थ्रोज अ स्निकर बार एट हिज गन एंड देन ही बेसिकली, ठीक है. सो दैट्स द सीन. और अभी यूटीवी मूवीज में उसको कैसे दिखाया, मेरी चॉकलेट तेरी गोली आओ खेले होली. मतलब कुछ भी डब करते हैं भाई वो लोग.
Harshit, how much of content do you watch in a week? Like, is
Yeah,
there
just-
like, yeah, I need to know because you run a film, you
Yeah.
run something dedicated to cinema and
Yeah.
TV shows. So how much of content do you watch on an average?
यार you know, believe it or not that much.
Okay.
मतलब as in Ahuna watches, because Ahuna watches way more than me.
Yeah.
That's why.
Ahuna is your co-founder.
Ahuna, I mean, she's almost like a co-founder at this point. But yeah, she's like the head of content, and she's the one who is mainly behind most of the really well-written pieces on Humans of Cinema. मतलब वो ज़्यादा
That's
जो
just you being humble.
काफ़ी, no, but that's true. मतलब you see, मतलब अभी आज भी उसने बहुत सही एक पोस्ट डाला है. But yeah, so Ahuna has seen like way too much stuff, and because she has done like a proper film studies course.
Yeah. So I attended a workshop that you guys had done during the lockdown.
Yeah,
and,
you told me.
Yeah, and her part was the introduction to cinema and cinematic language. So
Basically.
yeah, I got a sense of that.
Yeah, she has like properly studied film studies, film appreciation at college at Jadavpur
Wow.
University. Yeah. कलकत्ता में अलग ही चीजें चल रही है वहाँ पे.
ये इसके कोर्स होते हैं, क्या बात कर रहे
होता है. देखो दिल्ली में भी है एक कोर्स. दिल्ली में there's a course at JNU also and there's a course at Ambedkar University also. But I don't know, maybe because there just isn't a culture of these film conversations in Delhi or Bombay. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा superfluous type का हो जाता है.
यहाँ पे हमारे the closest we can get to something like a film appreciation course is having like a subject called as cinema in BMM. We had a course called cinema जिसमें हमें movies देखना था और हमको उनको dissect करना.
No, so that's that only. That's that only.
Yeah.
But my thing is that again it differs from person to person, teacher to teacher, because I think a large chunk of it are still showing the classics. They'll show a Pyasa, they'll show a
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction bhi nahi yaar, like Bicycle Thieves, they're still in that era, which is fine, but I think a good teacher would then again to draw a parallel to how it is being done today, would show a more recent film to display that. But
मैं होती तो यार एक ही दिन में Godfather और गुंडा दिखाती. I feel like
which is a good double feature. Yeah, I would
exactly.
Like to
in terms
watch
of
it,
मतलब वो चीज़ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. इनफैक्ट दैट इज़ वन ऑफ द वेरी लाइक फाउंडिंग प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ ह्यूमन ऑफ सिनेमा. जब हम लोग फिल्म एनालिसिस वर्कशॉप भी करते हैं, हम लोग उसमें भी ये वाली बात बोलते हैं कि ये बहुत मिसअंडरस्टूड चीज़ है कि मतलब ये कि मतलब गॉडफादर टाइप की फिल्में या फिर स्कॉर्सेज़ी की फिल्में या फिर इंडिया में श्याम बेनेगल की फिल्में यही अच्छी फिल्में हैं. ठीक है, और अच्छी और बुरा भी देखो बहुत सब्जेक्टिव वर्ड है. और चलो अब मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा कि गुंडा अच्छी फिल्म है. दैट्स नॉट द पॉइंट. द पॉइंट इज दैट इट इज एज इम्पॉर्टेंट टू टॉक अबाउट एंड एनालाइज अ फिल्म लाइक गुंडा एज इट इज टू टॉक अबाउट अ फिल्म लाइक गॉडफादर. द रीजन बीइंग not that it's good or bad, it is that every film is, and this is again like my personal opinion, I say this a lot, but I feel that every film is almost like a document of the times that it was based in, right? Just watching Gundas tell you so much about the times that these were.
About the times the producers lived.
They were lived in the kind of sensibilities. Like you can learn so much about so many things just from watching that one film. That is the reason we need to watch these films. And मतलब एक रीज़न है ना कि ये फेमिनिस्ट फिल्म थ्योरी और क्वियर फिल्म थ्योरी ये सब चीज़ों का इजाद हुआ. क्यों? क्योंकि लोगों को ये चीज़ समझ आई कि वी कैन लर्न सो मच अबाउट जेंडर्स, अबाउट जेंडर स्टडीज़ through films, because eventually films is what a reflection of society. Society में अक्सर जो चीज़ें हो रही होती हैं उनके बारे में बातें करना इतना आसान नहीं होता. हो सकता है कि हम लोग अपनी फैमिली में जो मिसोजिनी हम लोग देख रहे हैं हम लोग उसके बारे में इतना इजीली बात ना कर पाएँ. बट हैव यू सीन दिस फिल्म कॉल्ड अबाउट लव बाय अर्चना फाड़के? It's an Indian documentary.
Documentaries I have seen this.
It's
on movie.
On movie, yes.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm talking about? Essentially what that film is, Archana Phadke, she's a filmmaker, documentary filmmaker. उन्होंने अपने घर को document किया है. अपने घर, मतलब literally she just placed a camera inside her house.
Is it the one where the uncle is talking to
his wife?
His wife, yeah.
In an extremely, abusive way.
Abusive way, yes, I remember.
So, you see something like that, and then you watch a film like that with your family, then it makes you supremely uncomfortable because it's like, fuck dude, like, how is he talking like that? But then you realize that you have seen shit like this happen in your own family as well. You have had grandfathers who have spoken to your grandmothers like that. And at that point, you were silent because you thought that this is how it is. But when you watch it in a film, you get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, that is what films do. They give you this opportunity to talk about things that you may otherwise not be able to talk about because they make you uncomfortable.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
How often do you go back to Lootera when you is it a film that you revisit very often, and what do you gain from it every single time that you go back to it?
So I watch it quite regularly. I think at one point in my life I made this pact with myself कि ये 3-4 फिल्में हैं जो कि मैं साल में हर बार देखूंगा ही देखूंगा. Especially Eternal Sunshine is that one of those films. Lootera, October.
I see a running theme.
Huh?
I sense a theme.
Running theme.
Everything
These
okay?
are films that you would sleep through.
No, मैं तो थोड़ा और सिंपल देख रही थी कि तीनों में जान का धोखा है किसी ना किसी को, मोस्टली लड़की को.
जान का धोखा. Oh
yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Or like there is some sort of yearning.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
all the 3 movies.
Heartbreak actually more than
Heartbreak. Yeah.
Yeah,
Heartbreak
for
also.
sure.
What's the 4th film? Eternal Sunshine. Lootera.
I mean, at one point Tamasha used to be there, but now I haven't. मतलब उसका थोड़ा सा change हो गया. लेकिन yeah, ये 2-3 फिल्में जो है ना, it's more than anything.
तमाशा का change क्यों हुआ है? Is it because of
no.
By the way, I should mention you recently did a 5-year anniversary event in Delhi for Humans of Cinema, which was Tamasha themed. Okay.
It was Imtiaz Ali themed.
Imtiaz Ali
themed, and Tamasha was definitely like an
a big
important
part of
thing.
it. Yeah.
Because Tamasha was kind of the film that inspired me, like properly inspired me to kind of pursue this, and it was the first film I ever wrote about. It is a film that, you know, is still very close to my heart in terms of it has been like really helpful in like difficult times and all of that.
Okay.
But the only reason I have stopped revisiting it is because I revisit films for a very different reason. I revisit them for the way that they make me feel. You know.
Right.
Lootera, October, Eternal Sunshine, maybe because of this very specific atmospheric kind of beauty that they have.
Right.
You know, they kind of take you to a particular environment,
There's
setting.
also a running theme of snowy
Yeah, a little bit.
environments.
Like
Yeah,
October is
yeah.
not snow, but
Right.
it's still like the
Cold.
Delhi autumns,
Yeah,
winters
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
approaching, you know. And I'm from Delhi. I really like Delhi winters.
Right.
So I kind of watch, because I generally do not revisit films. So if I do revisit them, I revisit them for this. कि मतलब for the feeling that they give, for the place that they take you to, the season, you know, for that. So more than anything, I watch it for that. And what I take back from it, I think every time, one of the things that I've noticed is that every time I watch it, I notice like a new literary reference जो कि उसके अंदर है, या फिर एक फिल्म, मतलब लिटरेरी रेफरेंस इन टर्म्स ऑफ कि अगर आप लोग देखोगे, आपने अभी रिसेंटली देखी कि उसके अंदर कितनी मतलब पोएम्स का रेफरेंस है ना, कितने मतलब फिल्मों का रेफरेंस है, मतलब बहुत वो रैंडमली वो बाजी का रेफरेंस दे देते हैं जब
देवानंद का,
you know, there are so many
Massey's debut
references.
film, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's Vikrant Massey's debut
Vikrant
film.
Massey, I remember watching him in Balika Vadhu. He was, I think that was his daily soap debut, if I'm not wrong. No, I think uske pehle
Before that, he used to do the show.
Dhoom Machao Dhoom.
Exactly.
Yes, sorry, I forgot.
What was Dhoom Machao Dhoom?
Dhoom Machao
It
Dhoom
was
was a
Disney
show
show.
on Disney,
Oh, okay.
which also, it was like a high school kids ka show.
See, this is I am just before the generation of Disney Hindi shows and UTV Hindi dub. So yeah, so I missed out on that.
So nahi, usme there is Sriti Jha, there is Vikrant Massey,
Yeah.
then who else is there?
There was one more
There
person,
was-
I think.
Whoever.
No, but
Vikrant
no,
Massey
I'll
was
tell
the
you.
one,
No, Shweta Tripathi was in another show. Shweta Tripathi was in this show
In
called
Kya Mast Hai Life.
Kya Mast Hai Life.
Yeah.
Shweta Tripathi was, Shahir Sheikh was there,
Shahir
who
Sheikh
also
was
became
there.
famous later.
Yes.
So Disney mein us time there was a lot of like talent that later became, you know,
Yeah, which happened
Yeah.
in the West also. All your Justin Timberlakes. and
Dude, also
Britney Spears.
Tara Sutaria.
Tara Sutaria.
Kya Mast Hai. No, Suit Life of Zack and
Yeah.
Karan and Kabir. But
Oh,
yeah.
that was an Indian adaptation?
Yeah,
Oh, you don't know that?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Again, I'm just before that generation of
Yeah.
when these
It was
shows
a
happened.
scene to scene copy. मतलब एक चीज
Yeah.
एकदम
Like
same.
अगर वो सूट लाइफ ऑफ जैक एंड कोड में बोल रहे कि हे आर यू अ चिकन, तो इसमें बोल रहा है ए तू बतख है क्या?
I feel like this is an episode about dubbing more than
Nice.
badly translated movies.
I think we should, before we go into a break, we didn't actually speak about what Lootera is about in case you haven't seen the film, but
It's
an
open to
adaptation.
interpretation, and this is our interpretation.
There's no plot.
There's no
Just
plot.
vibes.
So definitely the second half is more plot heavy than the first one, the first
Yeah.
half I think. But it's an adaptation of O. Henry's Last Leaf,
Yeah.
and it's set in 1953. There's a zamindar who has a daughter played by Sonakshi Sinha, and an archaeologist comes to town. I think it's set in West Bengal. Are we told what town it is?
Fuck, I don't.
I think they
remember.
mention it once, but
Yeah. They do
I don't
mention
know if it's
it.
a fictional town or a real town.
They do mention it.
They do
Yes.
mention it.
It looks like Bengal though.
It is
feels
Bengal,
like
but
Bengal,
just
yeah.
the town.
They mentioned the town. So an archaeologist comes into their lives, played by Ranveer Singh, and under the guise of archaeology, what we learn is that he's actually a thief, and he plans to steal this very precious murti that the zamindar is in possession of. And and then of course the girl and the archaeologist fall in love. It's very beautifully portrayed, but at the interval point the penny drops and she finds out that he's just a thief and he runs away. And then second half we fast forward to 4 years later in Dalhousie, right? Or
Yeah.
Dalhousie,
Dalhousie, yeah.
where she's fallen on hard times, and by some sequence of events, Ranveer Singh's character comes back into her life, but this time around, it gets a much darker tone, and it ends with him losing his life, but somehow rekindling the romance that he had with the girl. But the whole thing, the one thing I that stuck out to me is that despite despite the story and the film dealing with these sinister emotions, it's never cynical. It's never like, no, even for the thief you have empathy for him, because even though he kills his best friend, even though he kills a policeman, you still sort of feel for him, because there is no sense of, okay, this person should be punished. There is no ulterior, I mean, there is an ulterior motive, but somehow the portrayal is very gentle.
So like I feel uske ulterior motives to the kafi in the movie, and I was like, it is very difficult to root for you right now. एंड 2-3 बार मेरा ऐसा लगा कि ए यार ये झूठ बोल रहा है, बस कितना ये सैड साउंड कर रहा है तो इसलिए रूट करो क्या इसके लिए, झूठ बोला ये साला. एंड देन टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ कोर्स लाइक ही डज दैट होल थिंग वेयर ही टेक्स केयर ऑफ हर, ही प्लांट्स द लीफ, like quite literally he plants the leaf on that branch. But then I like, even though now because on the first watch I feel like the movie is really good, and I am on board with Ranveer Singh and Sonakshi Sinha's character, even though Ranveer Singh's character was quite grey, but I feel like maybe on the third or fourth watch I will feel like not that great guy. Not that nice guy.
No, I mean, he definitely isn't like.
She just brought out the glasses, so he's about to school you. He's about to school you.
let me say this. No, but he definitely, क्योंकि मेरे साथ क्या होता है ना, चश्मा जो उतार रखा होता है ना, तो फिर मेरे को दिखता सबको ऐसे रहता है, फिर बाद में कैमरा में ना वो ऐसे आता है, बस मैं पूरे टाइम
right
ब्लिंक कर रहा हूँ.
Totally fine.
But yeah, so I think they haven't really tried to justify his actions at any point in the film. Matlab, he has been shown as like a really, really fucked up character who eventually like kind of understands that he did some really, really bad things in his life and tries to repent for them by kind of surrendering himself and eventually dying.
Right. There's just one line of backstory, right? कि वाजपेयी जी ने हमको बचपन से बड़ा किया, ऐसे कैसे छोड़ देते? Like there's that one.
But even through that, they aren't really trying to, you know, like justify his actions.
Okay.
Do you think they're trying to justify his actions a little bit?
There is just that. That's where his origin is from.
That's where.
कि अब वो क्या करेगा बेचारा?
हाँ, exact.
हुआ है
Somewhat.
खाइए वैसा वाला वो फील देने का ट्राई किया. But I also like had a point. Like what if so Sonakshi Sinha, she runs into him right the first time. वो गाड़ी से जब भी उनका एक्सीडेंट होता है, तो नॉट एक्सीडेंट लाइक टक्कर होती है, तो तभी व्हाट इफ लाइक ही प्लांटेड हिमसेल्फ ओवर दैट. इट वाज दैट ओनली, बट लाइक I mean, what if he was planning like all of this, planning to fall in love with her? Of course, like I mean, it doesn't make sense now that we have finished the movie, but like maybe just like as a theory.
So can I tell you what I thought of that?
Yeah.
Again, I am imagining that he must have had many such adventures and he must be finding a new girl every time.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this was the one where he really fell in love
Fair.
with.
Yeah,
Right?
this was a real ladies versus Ricky Bell.
Yeah. Post-independence. 1950s version. Yeah.
Ladies versus Ricky Bell minus the kya karu old ladies.
That was the best part of the film. So, right?
So yeah. Okay, we have to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a lot more about Lootera with Harshit, and we'll talk a little bit more about Humans of Cinema as well. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and like this video and share it with anyone who you think will enjoy it. We'll see you on the other side of this break. Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On All Things Policy, Mubina Mubarak and Malati Renati speak about solid waste management. They talk about its nuances and best practices in order to maintain urban hygiene and also reduce environmental pollution in the face of urban expansion. On A Century of Stories, Kunal unfolds a poignant chapter in history about Tokyo's beloved elephants during World War II and India's heartwarming response. Discover the journey of Indira, the chosen elephant, symbolizing hope and goodwill, and Nehru's heartfelt message, fostering a lasting bond between India and Japan. And on the Habit Coach podcast, Ashton advocates cultivating a reading habit by starting with easily digestible, thin and well-crafted books. He gives pointers on how to make reading a brief, manageable daily commitment that can be done anywhere. Folks, if you like our shows, do spread the word. Tell your friends and don't forget to rate and review them wherever you're listening to them. Follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. You'll also find all our shows on YouTube at youtube.com/IVM Podcasts. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week. Omidyar Network India, Abbott, IDFC First Bank and Save Life Foundation. Thank you for making this possible. And we're back on Has It Aged Well. We're talking about Lootera from 2013 with Urjita and our guest Harshit. So I'll tell you my experience rewatching Lootera this time. I'd watched it, I think, I didn't watch it in theatres. I'd watched it probably in 2014 or 15. I don't remember if I saw it on streaming or I found some other means to watch the film. But
Other means CD DVD की बात.
yeah, completely legal.
But pirated. CD DVD तो ऐसे बोल रहे हो जैसे वो सिर्फ लीगल तरीके से मिलती है.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
CD तो देखी नहीं हमने कभी.
Pirated भी होते थे.
मैं तो बुध बाजार से जाके खरीदता था हमेशा.
So I remember admiring the film, but I didn't have many memories of it. When I started rewatching it, the complete first half, I was like, why did I not revisit this film for so long? I was completely in awe of it. Then the second half happened and I was like, okay, this is a film of two halves.
Yeah.
I personally found the second half less interesting than the first because there's a lot of plot things happening in the second half. Then there is a chase scene which has been put in, which is well done, but I don't know if it belongs in this film. There's not as much of... I mean, the first half is so... You see the blooming of the Sonakshi character and the Ranveer character. Somehow I found that missing in the second half. What did you guys... Let's talk about what we think of both Sonakshi and Ranveer in the film. You think Ranveer can do a role like this again because now his public perception is something completely different and we have this loud, jazzy Ranveer.
These are two
Ranveer.
different questions.
Okay.
But
which one would you
just
like to answer first?
The second one, because even I was thinking about it. Ki both like
Ranveer तो ऐसे
Varun.
बात कर रहा है picture में.
क्या-
ऐसे
क्या?
बातें करते
By the way,
हैं.
do you guys know who were the original casting choices for this film?
I think Kareena was for Sonakshi's role.
Even before that, this
Even
film was
before
supposed to be made a long time ago.
Okay. So then I don't.
So if you guys had to guess,
Shahid Kapoor,
no.
Hrithik Roshan,
No,
It's
Hrithik
so
Roshan.
unexpected now. It's so unexpected.
Jimmy Shergill.
Maybe the actress you guys can still guess.
Acha, oh sorry, I completely
Vidya
forgot.
Balan?
I thought it's Kareena Kapoor only.
Vidya Balan. Okay.
Oh,
Vidya Balan was the actress.
and the actor is
would
John
be...
Abraham.
Holy shit!
Oh, really?
Okay.
It makes sense, right? John Abraham.
Yeah, John and Vidya.
In
Dude,
that
I
part.
was watching Salame
Salame
Ishq the other day, as in just bits and
Yeah.
pieces of it. They are so good.
Yeah.
Why don't we have more of John and Vidya Balan? Like we still
It
can
just
get
feels
more
like
of John
they're
and Vidya.
such different, you know.
Yeah.
on such
But
different
you
Worlds
know
now.
they are actually the realistic version of a couple.
How?
Like they genuinely
people who
look like
complement
Oh, in
each other
Salami.
they,
like
they
that.
complement
Okay.
complete बोल रही हूँ मैं.
They complete each other.
They complete they complement each other, and also like I have seen couples like these a lot ki acha, like the woman is like warm, homely, and the guy is like a bodybuilder ki oh hello.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
So that's why I
Totally.
felt like you know ये तो काफी हमने देखा है. Even like in the physical sense I have seen. This is very specific.
It's okay, we believe you,
But
Urjita.
yeah, I just realized ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा specific हो रहा है.
Physically,
But yeah, no, I feel like we should have gotten more of Vidya and
Yeah.
John.
I have
Very
a question.
interesting pairing.
Why do you think Divya Datta decided to play that almost speechless role?
Negligible role.
I
Yeah.
felt like उसका
No
ज़्यादा
clue.
role होगा.
काट दिया होगा
काट
बाद
दिया
में.
होगा.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I also thought कि वरुण धवन एंड रणवीर सिंह दोनों में ये चीज़ तो कॉमन है कि दोनों ऑफलाइन दे आर फ्लैम्बॉयंट पर्सनैलिटीज, दे आर नोन फॉर देयर एक्सट्रोवर्टेडनेस, बट दे बोथ हैव लाइक प्लेड ऐसे शाय क्वाइट कैरेक्टर्स लाइक
Really
वरुण
well.
इन अक्टूबर एंड दिस गाय इन लुटेरा. इन रणवीर ने और किसी मूवी में नहीं किया ना ऐसा, if I'm not wrong.
He has quieter moments. Even in Band Baja Barat, he has some quieter moments. But a full-on like this
Exactly.
kind of role, maybe not.
So then it's like I feel so the thing is that's what, right? I'm conflicted about it. Did I enjoy their performances so much because I know that they are genuinely acting in this one, because I have seen their offline personas. Like I'm trying to think of it.
My opinion is also colored by the fact that I last night saw him on Coffee with Karan.
That's
So,
what.
yeah.
So like I'm trying to understand that maybe if I didn't know so much about them, would I still enjoy their performances as much?
Yeah.
Like,
we don't live in that
in
world.
Lootera in October.
yeah.
I don't know, yeah. I
Just
think
because they are a complete contrast of their personalities, is that why we think this is
Maybe.
great acting?
But wouldn't that add to it? कह रही है तो असल जिंदगी में तो बिल्कुल नहीं है ऐसा.
That's
क्या
what she's
बढ़िया
saying.
acting
कि
कर रही है.
Yeah,
मतलब maybe
अच्छा, okay.
our opinion is
Colored by
because of that.
Correct. Okay.
Because like if a Manoj Bajpayee or like a Jimmy Shergill would do it,
Maybe it wouldn't be
it
that
would,
shocked,
yeah,
Yeah.
and it maybe
Yeah.
the movie would not have
been that effective.
been that effective because like कि हाँ ये तो करते ही है वैसे.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Shergill of the early 2000s maybe. 2013 I don't know.
Wait, you said Manoj Bajpayee and Jimmy Shergill.
Yeah.
ये क्या
ये
हुआ?
अलग है ये मतलब ये दोनों फ्लैम्बॉयंट पर्सनालिटीज नहीं है ना तो इसलिए एंड प्लस दीस
Yo,
टू
Jimmy Shergill मोहब्बतें was, I mean that era.
फ्लैम्बॉयंट नहीं था मोहब्बत
I think he was also like a quieter.
Yeah,
he was
quieter
Amangat
guy.
he was the quieter one.
Yeah.
We know this
So-
because we just discussed Mohabbatein on
Yeah.
the
Oh,
earlier
really?
episode. Yes.
या सो इसलिए मैं बोल रही थी कि बिकॉज रणवीर सिंह एंड वरुण धवन का ऑफलाइन पर्सोनास इतना ज्यादा दे आर इन योर फेस
Yeah.
बाकी एक्टर्स का इतना नहीं रहता सो
True,
इसलिए मैं
true,
सोच रही
What's your
कि
take
इनको
on
हम
Ranveer?
because Varun
Ranveer-
especially for Varun Dhawan because people keep saying whenever anybody says that Varun Dhawan is a bad actor people are like you know what October and
October.
Badlapur देखो फिर बात करो so maybe I was also one of them not gonna lie but now I'm thinking that did we like those movies just because they sounded very away from their actual personalities.
I don't think so. I think there is this thing, right? An actor is only as good as the director.
Yeah,
I just think
maybe.
the filmmakers of those films
Definitely.
knew how to channel or bring that out of the actor.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which also Varun Dhawan had agreed, which also Varun Dhawan had mentioned in an interview that Shujit Sarkar while directing him, he kept telling him कि तू ऐसा कर वो हर एक चीज़ को डायरेक्ट कर रहे थे कि तू अभी इसमें आईब्रोज नीचे करना ऊपर करना and Varun Dhawan was like कि ये ऐसा क्यों and he was like don't ask questions just do it so he like maybe in
Makes
a way,
sense. Yeah, I think I mostly agree with her actually that it's possible, but I mean I guess there's no objective of looking at it now because I really like these performances. Like I
Yeah.
think Ranveer is phenomenal in Lootera.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I think both the actors, the way that they're looking in the film in terms of not that they're looking pretty or non-pretty, but just that they are fitting that world so well.
yeah like
Um,
I can't think of anybody else
100%.
In
I
these
think they
roles.
have just owned these parts so well. And you know, like kudos to you know the director, the DOP, and everyone else, the set designers
Yeah.
for just designing everything so beautifully that
yeah
like every shot of them where they're embracing each other, all of them just look so beautiful, right?
yeah
I also want to mention Barun Chandra who plays Sonakshi's
father. Yeah.
I think he's the one who
Yeah.
he's the one who made me buy into the film. Almost I was like, yes,
Yeah.
this
Yo,
is a
that's
Zamindar
so
from
true.
1953.
That's a really
I
good
don't
point.
believe anything else.
that's very true
And he has a very famous baritone. I'm sure he's done like a lot of voice work. But for me, it was almost like, yeah, he was the one who kept the film grounded for me in the first half. I was like, if there was like a real MVP of the film, I think that was him.
That's a really good point. I
Yeah.
think that makes so much difference. We don't realize it, but I think
Mm.
just his presence was maybe extremely effective in taking us to that world.
yeah
Because we've seen, you know, like the films of Satyajit Ray and all of that.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
he
yeah,
really
yeah,
takes
yeah.
us into that world.
Yeah.
And
Remember,
also, like,
Urjita, when
speaking
you
of-
saw the Ray films?
मैंने वो देखी ठीक है वो
वो वाली?
वो नहीं है
okay.
जिसमें बच्चा है और उसकी
पाथर
मम्मी
पांचली।
पाथर पांचली
But you should watch these two Satyajit Ray films if you like Lootera especially because Lootera directly references these films also, borrows from them also.
One of them is with the binoculars.
Charulata.
Charulata. Yeah.
oh हाँ I've heard of this yeah.
Generally, I mean, you know, this is the way that the spaces have been constructed in the first half. You know, those things, and also just how they've captured Sonakshi's character's solitude in the film, you know, of this woman being inside this house and
Right.
having her own world.
Right.
That
Yeah.
is very strongly reminiscent of Charulata. And then there is Jal Sagar,
Okay.
which is another Satyajit Ray film. Its English title is The Music Room. That's the English title.
Oh, okay.
The Music Room.
Yeah, I know it by that title.
Yeah, and that is a film about just the zamindari aspect of it in terms of how with the Indian independence, the zamindars suddenly becoming completely powerless.
Right.
And
and
they're-
you somehow felt bad for them like I was like I know I'm not supposed to feel bad for him but फिर भी बुरा लग रहा है maybe it's the acting or it is just the camera angle
yeah,
what
the
is
music.
it yeah
Actually, for me, it was interesting because here was one point of view of a man who's who's afraid of losing all the wealth that he has held on to, and then you have the Ranveer Singh character who, through that one murti he wants to steal, is in pursuit of that wealth, right?
Yeah.
So there's I don't know, like a very
Yeah.
I don't want to call it subtext, but क्या बोलना चाहिए उसका, where you know
No, but yeah.
it's the wealth aspect of it, कि एक जो हीरो है हमारी फिल्म का, उसको वो
Wealth चाहिए.
preciousness चाहिए, और एक ये जो है जिसके पास है who's just holding on to it, not wanting to leave it. So I don't know, there's something there. I was like,
And then there is
and then
Sonakshi Sinha who is trying to get something that was never hers. So it's a nice
wow.
balance.
Oh my God, you're
Yeah,
getting a hang of it. Next Humans of Cinema post will be
Urjita, yeah.
I have a question. Do you think we've not given Sonakshi Sinha her due credit, that we didn't write roles, good enough roles for her, that she was a better actress than what we got to see?
I mean, I don't think it's fair to blame like the writers or the producers for it. I mean,
Okay.
eventually she was the one who made
Chose
the choices, right?
correct, yeah.
Maybe that was the kind of stuff that she was more comfortable in, even if we
Yeah.
like her more in films like
Right.
Lootera.
Because you think of her in Dabang, where she's playing the village belle, right? The whole thappad se dar nahi lagta, pyar se lagta hai. Or then I think there was this phase where she was doing films like Akira and a few others where
Yeah, she did a lot of that stuff.
Khandani Shifa
There is
Khana,
this interesting phenomenon about Sonakshi Sinha that I have noticed, okay? Sonakshi Sinha overall, not that good an actress, like that is what it seems like. But in moments, no, like in every movie, there are in every movie of Sonakshi Sinha, I see like there are moments where she convinces me, dude.
Yeah.
Like even in Dabang, I kid you not. You know what is
That's
my
true.
favorite scene from Dabang? It is when they both get. Of course, you guys have seen
I
Dabang.
think the first one.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
one only
same.
I'm talking about. जब भी वो दोनों का शादी होता है, सुहागरात का दिन है.
Oh, that's your favorite scene.
I'm
Let's unpack that. Guys, let's unpack that.
Yeah, the way you went after Harshit when he mentioned the four films, I sense some unrequited love.
but नहीं उसमें so she is turned towards the window.
Uh-huh.
सलमान आता है. She turns and
Oh, अच्छा.
हाँ so she turns and सलमान ऐसे पूरा ऐसे तैयार व्यार होके कि बेबी कैसी हो क्या हो. She looks at him point blank. आपका नाम क्या है? That एक तो मुझे इतना मजा आ गया था वो सीन देख के. फिर उसके बाद वो हंसने लगता है, वो बहुत ज्यादा हंसता है. then he explains कि अच्छा वो पूरा बायोडाटा बताता है, हम ये है छेदी सिंह नहीं whatever his name was, I don't
Chedi Singh was his
remember.
brother's
Chedi
name.
Singh
No?
was the
Chedi Singh
villain.
was
Yeah.
The villain, अच्छा.
villain,
हाँ.
Sonu Sood, whatever his name was, Robin Hood Pandey something.
Chulbul Pandey.
Chulbul Pandey. वो पूरा अपना नाम बताता है, हम ये करते वो करते हैं, and she's like ठीक है, that's it. I don't know why, like
I know
in,
what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, like in bits, like even in Lootera she was impressive throughout the film. But like in Dahad also, if you have seen
Dahad, I think she was great throughout.
She was
I
very
Oh
loved
yeah,
her.
I've seen the Hard. Yeah, she was really good. at
yeah,
that.
she was really
Actually,
good. Like
yeah.
Sonakshi Sinha manages to convinces me, even in that Noor.
Noor.
कौन सी वो
Noori.
journalism वाली, what was
With
that?
Kanan Gill also.
With
Kanan Gill.
oh, yeah,
Noor
I
only,
think-
no, what
I
was
think
its
Noor,
name?
I think it
Noor
was
or
called.
Noori, one of the
Noor.
two.
Noor,
Correct us
it
in the
was Noor,
comments.
it was Noor,
Yeah,
yeah. तो नूर में भी like ऐसे पूरे मूवी में वो इतनी खास नहीं लगी, but then there are scenes where in the funny scenes, serious scenes, उसमें तो अच्छी लग रही थी मुझे, like I was convinced. So maybe I
Yeah.
don't know what
No, she's
it
good.
is.
She's good. I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I've done a video with her also about
Okay.
Lootera.
Uh-huh.
On
Oh,
I
then
think
तो she's good only.
Link in the bio. Yeah.
when the film completed 8 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we have done a video with her, like kind
Was
of
there
talking about the film.
Was there a major takeaway you had from that conversation?
I mean, overall, it was, see, for that, at that point in my life, it was just surreal in general, because Lootera was extremely influential for me. And then suddenly, I was talking to the actors of the film. So
Yeah.
that was like a really special moment for me in general,
Right. Did you start Humans of Sinha just so you could hang out with film stars that you admired?
Dude, like, मतलब यार ये तो मतलब था ही नहीं ना कहीं भी दूर दूर तक. मतलब मैं तो इंस्टाग्राम पेज चला रहा था. मतलब कोई इंस्टाग्राम पेज चला के थोड़ी सोचता है कि वो बॉलीवुड वाले लोगों से मिल रहा होगा. सो नॉट एट ऑल मैन. लाइक ये तो सब वो है, मतलब एक्स्ट्रा चीज़ें.
ये तो भाई भगवान की देन है.
ये तो बस
भगवान दे हेल्प करना चाहते हैं, मना नहीं करते हम.
I just want to mention the cinematographer of the film, Mahendra Shetty, who also did Udan and also was involved in the camera department of Devdas. So he kind of similar time
Right.
period, so he has this,
Yeah, it
and
makes
he's worked with
sense.
Motwane before in Udaan. So
Devdas also Motwani was an assistant.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
with Sally he's spoken before. So any final thoughts you want to add about Lootera, and then we can go to the categories.
Favorite scene we have as a category, no?
Yeah.
Acha, that's a category.
ऐसे,
And also one more thing, since you mentioned cinematographer, also I want to mention Bhavani Iyer, who is the writer of the film. I think she does not get enough credit for the fact that, like, you know, she's the co-writer, and originally, as far as I know, from things that I've read, Motwane, Vikram sir also, like, I think, spoke about this in my podcast, that she, like, it was her idea, essentially, you know, like, she was the one who thought that, you know, we need to make a film based on The Last Leaf and kind of make it like this in India. So, I mean, I think in general, writers not get enough credit in India.
That's very true. I actually had a question. I just realized that I should have asked it slightly earlier. Ki,
We'll patch it.
why do you think it was very interesting to me, the choice of using whispers in the movie. Like, वो बहुत ज़्यादा बार उन्होंने किया हुआ है. Like, why do you think they are whispering? I'm pretty sure there is some meaning to it that I'm not getting right now.
जैसे कौन से whispers, मतलब मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा.
वो काफी धीमी धीमी आवाज में बात करे, और वो जानबूझ के, ऐसा नहीं कि ये हमारा हम ऐसी बात करते हैं.
My take on that is, I think all the other films have gotten much louder.
Wow.
That's why when people just talk at a normal register, we're like, why are they whispering? Everything else is so loud.
Even in that book wala scene where she's telling him कि ये कहानी में ये होता है, उसमें तो it starts with whispers
I
only.
mean, isn't it when you're with your lover, with nobody around, why would you be loud?
Yeah, I think, see, generally, I think that was the mood of the film, like
Maybe.
slightly quieter, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, correct.
it kind of wanted to evoke that sense of calmness in the viewer as well, which happens.
Yeah.
वही मतलब वो ऐसे से बात कर रहे होंगे, सुनना वो तो फिर
Right, yeah.
वो शायद वो इफेक्ट नहीं निकल के आएगा, because I think with the lighting, the mood, everything that they're trying to create, it just goes well with it.
Another thing, I think, again, we are judging it while living in Delhi and Mumbai in 2023, where there's so many other sounds surrounding us, right?
Oh.
I'm assuming 1953
Yeah, that's a very
mein in
good
a
point,
small
actually.
town,
Oh,
where
yeah.
That's a
things
really
will be
good
way
point.
more silent, then you don't need to like. Can I write for Humans of Cinema? Was my
Of course, this
audition
was-
good?
Yeah. You have no idea. I've been watching all the episodes.
Oh, thank you so
much. You were in consideration. I expect a mail soon.
Oh, nice. Take that, Chalchitra Talks. No, Webber side will come on my show. But is there a famous? Actually, we didn't speak about Amit Trivedi's music. I think it's a huge
Oof,
part of it.
Of course,
yeah,
of course.
Sorry, we took
Montare.
like an hour to come to to
Yeah.
that. But the climax completely depends on the music, right? Like
Yeah.
the scene of her looking at the leaf. Any opinions about the music?
I mean, I see Lootera's music is that album for me, that soundtrack that has never left my Spotify playlist. You know, like every song of the film. मतलब मैंने हजारों लाखों बार सुने होंगे. मतलब उड़ान और लुटेरा दोनों की एल्बम ऐसी है.
Yeah. Udaan was that for
heard
me.
them
Yeah.
countless times. मतलब, and
Yeah.
in fact, like probably one of my favorite lines from Hindi film music, from Hindi cinema ever, is the line मेरे हाथों हुआ जो किस्सा शुरू, उसे पूरा तो करना है मुझे.
Oh.
कब्र पर मेरे सर उठा के खड़ी हो जिंदगी, ऐसे मरना है मुझे. मतलब इट्स फिनोमिनल, राइट? मतलब वो क्या सोचा है. अमिताभ भट्टाचार्य को अब वो लव स्टोरियाँ के लिए जाना जाता है. लेकिन लुटेरा की पूरी एल्बम इतनी गजब है. मतलब इट्स सो ब्यूटिफुली रिटन ऑल्सो, एंड मतलब just the music is phenomenal, man.
I think that's one of the other reasons why Lootera has found like an online following, is that these songs are used a lot in like Instagram
Yeah.
reels and stories and social media.
Quite possible.
Any favorite scenes that you guys have, or a favorite scene that stands out for you when you think of Lootera?
Yeah, you say.
I have that the painting wala scene where she tells him that आप painting सिखा दीजिए, and that whole scene where they find out that he actually doesn't know how to paint. And you know what's the
Yeah.
funniest part? I really thought that कि मैं क्या डम्बू, क्योंकि उसने जब भी वो लीफ बनाए, ठीक है, and he like पूरा कन्विक्शन के साथ उसने बोला कि मॉडर्न आर्ट है, and I was like हाँ होगा शायद. and then she was like आपको नहीं आती ना. I was like oh shit, मुझे भी नहीं आती, sorry. but yeah, I genuinely
Your Humans of Cinema subscription cancelled.
because मुझे genuinely painting के बारे में समझ, and I was sold. I was like हाँ ठीक है, होगा क्या मालूम,
Yeah.
let's see, because I was going with an empty slate कि हाँ पता नहीं, I don't know man.
Let's see.
That's a very interesting thing in the film that वो सोनाक्षी के कैरेक्टर में इतने लेयर्स थी, मतलब वो कि स्टार्टिंग में हम लोगों को लग रहा है कि ये एक शरीफ सी लड़की है, इसको कुछ पता नहीं है, बोल रही है कि पेंटिंग सिखा दो, बट शी इज 5 steps ahead, you know.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Ki people keep talking about how Rani is so forthcoming in Rocky Rani, but Sonakshi Sinha did it way before.
You know, another thing I liked is that second half में when she's lost her wealth and she's lost her father, मतलब उसको गुर्बत में नहीं दिखाया है. She's still writing, she's still doing things on her own. She's of course way more frustrated. You see her crumpling
But she's
the
still
papers.
rich. She has like a house in
she has a house, yes. Which again, like wealthy people rarely lose all their wealth. They'll still have
That's
enough
a
wealth
great
to have,
True.
sustain themselves and have a
तो ये नहीं दिखाया कि वो
at
लुट
hand.
गया तो फिर वो बिल्कुल सड़क पे आ
बिल्कुल ही
गई.
चला गया. हाँ.
But मुझे ये भी मैं सोच रही थी कि सोनाक्षी सिन्हा, do you think that she was so I also thought कि ये इतनी इंटेलिजेंट है, ये सेकंड हाफ में कुछ तो कहेगी. I was thinking बदला लेगी, वाह मजा आएगा. ऐसा उसने कुछ
That
किया
was
नहीं.
Akira. A different film.
But like, did you think that maybe अगर ऐसा होता, like maybe the movie would have lost its essence अगर सोनाक्षी सिन्हा भी battlefield में आ जाती. But then what would have the movie looked like?
There are hints of it where she goes to the cop and you almost feel like she's going to lead him on.
That's what.
Just so that he.
And that's what the film is about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's the film is about what this particular character would do in this situation.
Yeah.
Some other character would have probably reported her to Kane Singh. क्या नाम होता है? Kane Singh, right?
Kane Singh, correct.
वो भी, even that is a reference. Kane Singh was an actor
really?
who used to play mostly the police
The
parts
cop?
in the older films.
Nice.
In a lot of Devanand films, in fact.
Okay, of course.
ये सब इस फिल्म में इतने references है ना, मतलब
देवानंद का रेफरेंस क्यों है इतना?
Because
Maybe.
50s.
50s अच्छा.
50s and maybe I think Vikramaditya Motwane is very strongly inspired by the Devanand films.
वो भी काफी अंडररेटेड फनी डायलॉग विक्रम मासी बोलते हैं ना कि देवानंद साहब इतने लोगों से 70 लोगों से लड़ाई करे पर मजाल है जो बाल इधर का उधर हो जाए.
Yeah, and it really does the mimicry very well. The mimicry for that
very
split
good.
second.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Adil Hussain and Arif Zakaria. Both of them,
yes.
they have small roles. Arif Zakaria actually has a very small role, but both of these actors, when they just show up on screen, you know you're in safe hands. So I really love that. Cool. Let's do the categories, guys. So Harshit, Lootera from 2013. What's aged the best and what's aged the worst from it? I know you're a fan of the film, so of course.
No, of course, but
if there's one thing you had to say, this has not aged that well, what would be that? What would that one thing be?
I'll come back to it. Urjita को बता दो.
Actually, yeah, this is one of those films where I'm like, it's not that old, it's 10 years old. It's hard to put a finger on something, but do you have something where you're like, okay, this
Man,
is...
what has aged the best? I think, dude, I really like the pacing. I'm
Okay.
surprised. I
Okay.
did not expect to like the pacing of this
Urjit,
movie.
this podcast is Urjita's journey from being a hardcore Bollywood masala lover to accepting the fact that she's an art house lover at heart.
नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. दूल्हे राजा मेरी favorite है. But I really like the pacing of the film. A big fan. I think what has aged the worst is, yaar, I don't know. I genuinely...
I know it's a little difficult to say, yeah, this is worst has not aged.
Yeah, superlative degree नहीं use करनी मुझे यहाँ पे जरा भी. But
Can I mention the one moment where I felt the pacing or the moment they held on too long is that when Ranveer and the cop are pointing the gun at each other. And that
Dude, I love
moment-
that scene though,
Yeah?
personally.
I just felt like they held on a little too long about
क्या बात
who's
कर रहे हो?
going to
रणवीर भाई की आंखों में तुमको गुस्सा प्यार सब दिखाई नहीं दिया. उसके लिए टाइम दे रहे थे वो तुम्हें यहाँ.
Why do you think it's done beautifully?
I mean, just because I love it, you know, मतलब कोई poetic
Okay.
reason नहीं है उसके पीछे,
अच्छा,
but
Yeah.
okay.
I really like मतलब in fact second half का जो पूरा वो है ना, when he is at her home, जितने भी वो वाले sequences हैं जो गाने के against अलग अलग sequences shot हैं. एक जिंदा के against वो है जब वो ऊपर पेड़ पे चढ़ता है. That whole
Yeah.
sequence is so beautiful according to me. The sequence वो एक दूसरे गाने के against होता है जब वो जाता है, पहले जाता है, फिर वो देखता है दिव्यंतु भट्टाचार्य को और फिर देख के फिर वापस चला जाता है. That is one sequence. Then later the police. I think all of these, I just really like them, you know, because I've seen the music videos so many times now.
Right, correct.
Maybe because of music I like them so much.
Yeah.
I think this Motwane has a gift for using music really well.
Very
जबकि वो एक कभी भी वो नहीं होगा कि वो lip sync वाले
Lip sync
गाने
वाले
नहीं होंगे,
नहीं, हाँ.
होंगे सारे हमेशा वैसे ही.
Yeah, which is why this is very crazy, but I would like to see Motwane's version of Dil To Pagal Hai. Because it is like
That's
not
what-
an
yeah.
out and out musical, but it is still a
It is
musical.
a proper musical.
It is a
Yeah.
musical.
And they're
So-
making a musical in the musical.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
musical
what.
within a musical.
Yeah. So
Maya.
like, and it is very different than Motwane's usual style of storytelling, or just like a story that maybe Motwane could have made a Khamoshi the musical.
Khamoshi the
Was it
musical.
called the musical?
Yeah,
it was called the
Khamoshi.
musical,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't know why it felt weird to say that.
They were
Khamoshi.
trying to kind of go for like an like an oxymoron thing, right? Like Khamoshi musical.
Khamoshi the musical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
उस time पे पर कुछ भी होता. There was a film called Dark the Fire.
Huh?
So, yeah, starring
Yeah,
Sanjay Dutt and I
Dark
don't
the Fire
remember
is
the
a
rest
film,
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, what says the best, I think the chemistry between Ranveer and Sonakshi. They really, it still shines through. What says the worst? Okay, I'm going to give it a different spin. The fact that Divya Datta is in the film and she does not make a mark. Favorite performance from Lootera?
I think Ranveer Singh.
Okay.
For me, yeah. Matlab, maybe Sonakshi, I do like Sonakshi in the film a lot, but Ranveer just completely makes the film for me.
Okay.
I don't know, there's something about, because I like Ranveer in general actually.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a lot of people maybe don't think that he's a good actor. I don't know what the general opinion
I
about
think
him
he's
is.
a great actor.
Yeah, people think he's a
I
good
think,
actor.
yeah.
It's just that उनकी नजर उनके कपड़ों से हटे तो बात करें ना acting की.
Actually क्या है ना कि लोगों को ये लगता है कि वो mainstream hero हैं और
Yeah.
वो
I think I was about to say the fact that you run a channel that's about film. I'm sure you get way more opinions than we witness in our circles. So maybe you get the anti-Ranveer wave a little more.
I do. I actually do because क्योंकि वही मेरे पेज पे थोड़ी सी ऑडियंस वाली है जो कि एक्सपेक्ट करती है कि मतलब कि बस मैं ये बोलूँ कि बस नसीरुद्दीन शाह और ओमपुरी अच्छे एक्टर हैं, बाकी सब फुद्दू हैं. लेकिन बट या मैन लाइक रणवीर
Nawaz sir is real actor, not this nachaniya.
But the thing that
No, I'm speaking in their voice.
no, this was your opinion.
No, it was
Your
not.
opinion, yeah.
Actually, you know what? Yes, I like Ranveer dancing. I'm just gonna say it.
रणवीर डांसिंग आई थिंक जो उन्होंने वो संजय लीला भंसाली की फिल्मों में जो 3-4 गाने करे हैं वो कोई नहीं कर सकता था यार. और वो जो जिस तरीके से रणवीर ने किया है ना वो कोई नहीं कर सकता भाई. वो इतनी एनर्जी, इतना इट्स समथिंग एल्स.
इतना क्या कि करण जौहर ने उसे नचवाया फिर डोला रे डोला पे
मतलब
अपनी
उसके आपने सोचा रहेगा कि उसके इत्तू से आपका इतनू सा एरिया उसमें बाल है उसके वो भी नाच रहे हैं.
वो भी नाच रहा है.
ऐसे कैसे मतलब ये आप ड्रम के ऊपर थोड़े से पर्ल्स डाल दो वो कैसे तुरुम तुरुम करते हैं. एग्जैक्ट हाउ इज ही वाइब्रेटिंग, सो हाउ इज ही गिविंग मी गूज़बम्प्स. मैं खाना बना रही हूँ, मैं ध्यान भी नहीं दे रही हूँ, फिर भी गूज़बम्प्स आ रहे हैं. मुझे पता नहीं कहाँ से आ रहे हैं, उसके गाने से आ रहे हैं, बाजीराव मस्तानी वाले. हाउ बट आई टोटली गेट इट.
Urjita, for you, favorite performance?
Favorite performance, I know Ranveer Singh is like the popular verdict, but I would like to give my special vote to Sonakshi.
Okay. Special why?
ऐसी स्पेशली है.
तूने ऐसे बोला एक घड़ी छूते, मेरे को लगा तुम घड़ी देने वाली हो.
नहीं.
For me, Barun Chandra, who played Sonakshi's father, is only there in a bit of the film. But like I said, for me, he was the conduit for me to buy into the.
I think I'll tell you why he is such a great fit for this role, because when you read like a very old book, पुराने ज़माने की तुम बुक पढ़ रहे हो कोई, तो उसमें तुम्हारा कोई ऐसे डैड का रोल होगा या कोई वो कैरेक्टर का रोल होगा. He is the exact face that you would think of. The exact, like that face. You know how some people say that there is something about Shobita Dhulipala's face that doesn't belong in 1850s. For him, yeah, many people say that, but his face, I think it belongs in that era. I think maybe that's why.
Shobita Dhulipala and
ये
him,
मैंने
I don't
बड़े
know.
random example दिए, but yeah, people say that.
Okay, very quickly, if you had to program a double feature with Lootera, which film would you choose?
I think maybe something like a Charulata.
Okay. Like a
nice.
direct inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think those two films go really, really well together.
Okay. Urjita, for you?
खामोशी द म्यूजिकल. मैं तब से सोच रही थी क्योंकि वो दोनों मूवीज देयर इज सम सिमिलैरिटी ओवर देयर एंड आई लाइक द थीम ऑफ melancholy that doesn't actually like make me so sad that I don't want to watch the film.
Yeah, the story ends on a sad note, but it's still hopeful.
Exactly, there is hope in it. खामोशी में तो like hope मिलता ही जाता है. So that's why I feel like काफी not different time zones, but काफी similar vibe.
Okay.
So
I'm choosing a film that's somewhat in the similar zone when it comes to the environment, which would be Parinita.
oh,
Parinita
Nice.
and Lootera
nice.
would be a good double
Nice.
feature.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Also Vidya, since you mentioned Vidya in the beginning, I was just thinking that.
I think Vidya and Sonakshi would be friends then. ये दोनों universes के characters.
Yeah.
I
for
just
sure.
realized.
Is Devdas also in the same universe?
Devda,
Nahin,
yeah,
nahin,
maybe
nahin.
Paru also, then
Yeah.
Charulata also. all of these,
Multiverse of
all the
madness.
Bengali.
देवदास उन दोनों से दोस्ती करके बोलेगा ए तुम्हारे दुनिया में कितना दुख है दारू पियो यार. He would just convince them to start
You know,
drinking.
but I was, मैं तुम बोल रहा था ना, मैं किलर्स ऑफ फ्लावर मून देख के आया हूँ
हाँ,
डायरेक्टली,
हाँ.
ठीक है, और मैं वही चीज सोच रहा था कि मतलब कितनी अजीब बात है, बट टेक्निकली देयर इज अ सिमिलैरिटी बिटवीन किलर्स ऑफ द फ्लावर मून एंड लोटेरा एज वेल,
Which is?
Oh.
which is that, you know, Killers of Flower Moon is also about like a
Land.
lover
Oh.
betraying, you know, a lover betraying the woman for technically money.
Right.
Like that is what the
Right.
film is about, and
Right.
Lootera is also about that. So technically, even that could make for a very interesting double feature.
Oh.
Even though like that is a more political film in
Right.
terms of like there are a lot of socio-political layers to it,
Correct.
but still like you know, the theme of the man duping the woman for money.
Correct.
That would be an interesting category of films.
Yeah.
Lootera also in a way it is socio-political only. No, it's just that it's not of this era.
Yeah.
तो इसलिए हमें इतना
It's
relevant
not
नहीं
wearing
लगता
its
है.
politics on its sleeve, but kind
Yeah.
of.
No,
Yeah.
in terms of this is the only difference because there it's like she was from the minority community.
Okay.
Community. मतलब क्योंकि वो indigenous tribe की थी, minority और oppressed community की थी. वो white colonial.
अच्छा okay, so it is
था.
out and out.
It is
Okay,
that.
fair.
हाँ.
Cool, let's do the rating. Harshit, if you had to rate Lootera on a scale of 1 to 10, on a
10.
has it aged well scale, how much would you rate? We know it's one of your favorite films, but if you could be as objective as you can.
No, like just especially because you're talking about the like aged well scale.
Yeah,
उस
yeah,
उस पे तो मतलब
In a
at least
decade.
अभी पिछले 10 सालों में तो I think it has aged phenomenally.
Okay.
So मैं तो पक्का बिल्कुल ही 10 दूंगा.
Okay. Oh, 10 on 10.
Wow.
Perfect score.
I also had a question on that.
Sure.
But the question पूछ लो क्या पहले? हाँ. तो do you think people are going to enjoy or you know enjoy or hate movies like Lootera when you know the loneliness sets in even more as the years pass by? I don't know. I just thought of it.
Wow.
Yeah,
मतलब ये
ये
Can I
थोड़ा
answer this as the oldest person on this panel?
Yeah.
So like I said, for me, movies are catharsis. So any heartbreak, any sadness you feel in real life, when I watch that being reflected in the movies, I like that. I'm experiencing some other characters going through it.
Nice.
So there is catharsis there. If you remember our Luck by Chance episode, we had Sapan Verma over, and who's a comedian and a writer, and his takeaway was that if you're going through a creative block, never watch Luck by Chance because you'll go further into the fact of insecurity.
Oh.
मेरा उल्टा था. मेरा था कि अगर आप as a creative person creative rut में हो तो please Luck by Chance देखो because you get to see that there are thousands of other people who also
Yeah.
go through this. So that's how I perceive it. So for
Nice.
me personally, the maybe the low. Ask me again in 10 years where I'm even lonelier and older. I'm
Wow.
like, that thing I said about Lootera.
Wow.
well,
What
Lootera
about
maybe I think it ends on a hopeful note. No.
Yeah.
In terms of course he dies, but I mean it could have also ended on a note of like Sonakshi killing him and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I think kahin na kahin that is a film about forgiveness. That is a film
That would
about.
be a Vasan Bala film. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I think Lootera is a film about forgiveness. It is a film about hope. It is a film about moving on. More than anything, it's a film about hope, right? It's a
Yeah.
film about like this woman who had given up all hope and now suddenly finding a sliver of hope, जो कि इस केस में ये लीफ के फॉर्म में है, which says so much more, you know.
Maybe.
And I think a film like Lootera would probably be a good film to watch even in the hopeless, you know, like the lonely
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Nice.
But there are definitely some films that you shouldn't watch in times like that.
Name
That can
one.
really fuck you up.
Name one.
I mean, you know, for example, I saw this film called After Sun.
Oh yeah, I
On
haven't seen
movie.
it yet. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Just watch it.
I know it's about a father and daughter.
Yeah, but more than anything, it's a film about.
इसीलिए
you
आफ्टर
know.
सन है क्या?
Okay.
No, but you're right. Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's that. Like, it is a.
Yo, अब बोल अब्बास cinephile हाँ?
No, wait. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying the
Because
After Sun?
After
Sun,
SON.
Oh fuck. It's not that. No.
Harshit regrets coming on this podcast.
No. Basically, After Sun, SUN, And I thought you were referring to the fact that because it's a film about depression and it is about like the sun, because
No.
sun.
हाँ मैं वही बोल रही थी.
That's what you meant.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
मैं सोच रहा था like a Blue Valentine. I can't
Even
watch
Blue
that film
Valentine,
again.
yeah, especially we're going through like a romantic.
Yeah, please. It's a breakup film which I will never revisit.
Eternal Sunshine also then.
No, but then that I would watch for the craft.
Okay,
again.
fair.
Yeah.
But maybe even that film ends on like a hopeful note,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
It ends on this note ki हाँ मतलब you know some people can work their way around find their way towards each other again.
Yeah.
I saw this one film recently on Netflix. It's called Fair Play.
Oh, what a
see
great
it?
film.
But even that's a film that
Yo.
could completely steer you away from romance.
Relationships, yeah,
Right?
agreed.
I haven't seen it. Who's in it?
Fair Play, Bridgerton girl. I forgot her
I
name.
don't watch Bridgerton either. ठीक है, I'll check it out.
Yeah,
Fair
but
play.
it's basically about insecurity in a relationship and how.
Oh, I saw a tweet that described it as the Hollywood Abhiman. So
Actually, yeah.
which is anyway.
Hollywood's man also then.
What's your rating?
Yeah.
I completely forgot on a scale of 1 to 10.
On a has it aged well scale, I
Yeah.
think 8.
Okay.
It has aged very well, I feel. On a rewatchability
Yeah.
scale, I think 6.5.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
Like I liked it for the first time, but I'm not sure if I'll
But
watch
you've only
it
seen
again.
it once.
यार वही पता है
Yeah.
मतलब you know there are some films that you are only able to judge properly after like a few months of having seen it. I don't know if this happens with you guys, पर मेरे साथ तो कई बार ऐसा होता है I've seen a film and I absolutely despise it when I see it, and then like a few weeks later, month later, suddenly something will happen in my life that will make me feel like fuck dude, like this is what that film was trying to say, and then I suddenly start loving it.
This could be like a plot of a film where a guy, okay, he hates a film, okay, and then somewhere कहीं तो message जाता है वो director को, this guy is hating a film, so now this director guy
Tries to do something.
tries to do something in his life in a way, tries to
Nice.
program his life in a way
Yeah.
where he's something happens and now is like, oh, I'll make this relatable for you now, like everybody is a part of a simulation and guess who is using it, directors.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry continue. I realize मैं बहुत ज़्यादा fluff बोल रही हूँ, but
नहीं,
okay.
नहीं, पर ये काफी सही
Yeah.
My rating would also be an 8. I would have given it a 9, but I think
आप लोग 10 बहुत मुश्किल से देते हो ऐसा सीन है?
the only film I've given 10 on 10 is Luck by Chance. And I'm notorious for giving low scores to film. But मैं क्या करूँ, मेरा standard थोड़ा.
इसलिए ये 9.5 भी रो के देता है. Abbas, you know how Abbas rates films. This movie was amazing, phenomenal, out of the world. It was amazing. If it was a book, it would be unputdownable. So I am giving it a solid 6. That's how he rates movies.
8 is
But,
good. Yeah. 8 out of 10 is a good score.
8 is a
I was
good score.
justifying it. I'm like, I think the first half is a superior film than the second half.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just connected more there. So if it was just the first half, I would give it a 9 on 10. But the whole film, I would 8 on 10.
Yeah.
Rewatchability, I think it's a good 7 on 10. I would revisit this again. I would revisit it sooner than I did this time around. So yeah.
Fair.
So yes, those were our ratings for Lootera. We'll quickly do our alternate ending segment, and let's do it right now. Okay, so this is our alternate ending segment where we suggest an alternate ending to the film than it originally ended, or we pitch a sequel to the film. So in Lootera, we see what's Ranveer's character's name?
मतलब he has 2 names actually. One is Varun
Let's go with that. And then his
then
real
is
name
Atmaram or something like that.
क्या बात है, इसका नाम वरुण है इस मूवी में. ओहो
Huh?
ओहो वरुण धवन. ओहो क्या बात है.
Okay, amazing.
नहीं too much. Okay, no.
So in Lootera, Varun dies. The cops shoot him, and Sonakshi Sinha's character sees the leaf painted by him and finds inspiration there. But if you were to, let's say, Vikramaditya Motwane comes to you, Harshit, and he's like, I'm releasing this on a special edition DVD, and I want to tweak the ending, and I want you to script it. What would be your alternate ending to Lootera? Or if you were asked to make a sequel to Lootera?
I think
what would
Urjita already said ना वो Sonakshi सिन्हा मार देती है उसको. I think that would have been a very interesting Pulp Fiction-esque kind of twist to the film.
Maybe.
But I think the only possible alternate ending could be if she had really not forgiven him, and she wouldn't have forgiven him. She would have given him away to the policeman,
Right.
and he would have gotten arrested. and then he would have gotten filled with even more rage, and then he would have come back.
Oh, it's got
Yeah.
dark really fast.
I don't
So
know.
he would come back with intent to revenge.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
And then you would expect this guy to kind of become a better man by now, but then he would come back and then he would steal whatever is left of her.
Oh.
Dude, this
वो भी
is
चुरा के ले गया
literally
बस.
this is was it Pran from Coolie where he Kader Khan from Coolie where I think so. I think it was Coolie where he simmers in the jail for 10 years and you expect him to come back as a reformed man, but he comes back with more thirst for more revenge. But
Yeah.
anyway, different movie. You want to stick with the Sonakshi
I
killing?
have a different
Okay, please.
Okay. So Sonakshi Sinha looks at that painted leaf,
Yeah.
okay, and she feels relief. And then she looks inside her window and she sees that there is a painting over there. She goes to her room. She looks at the painting and it's a painting of a leaf, okay, the same leaf. And then she notices something else peeking in from like behind the painting. वो देखती है, countless paintings come out.
Okay.
And then वो सब leaf की painting है. And then फिर वो ऐसे देखती है कि अरे ये सब यहाँ. And then फिर वो उसके हाथ देखती है, उसके हाथ पे पेंट लगा हुआ है सारा. Same paint. Okay. And then suddenly like she puts while she's putting 2 and 2 together in her head, okay, she's constantly hearing Ranveer's voices in her head, okay. And then दिव्या दत्ता आती है and दिव्या दत्ता बोलती है, दीदी आपने फिर अपनी दवाई नहीं ली.
Fight club बन गई है तो. अच्छा, so she was imagining.
I like this
Yeah.
because you use Divya Datta very, very, very competently.
The whole
I
point
like
of this
that,
was
yes.
so that we could write more scenes for Divya Datta, right?
But yeah, I think that turns out that she was giving herself hope all along.
What a depressing ending. Wow, thanks, Urjita. I have a counter to that. I have a sweet ending. My ending would be that Ranveer goes to turn himself into the cops, but Adil Hussain has a heart of gold, so he's like, you know what? I'm gonna turn away for 5 seconds, and whatever happens behind my back, is I don't know. I'm not seeing anything. So he gives him that window of opportunity to escape, and he goes back to Sonakshi, and then they run
They live
away.
happily ever after.
और फिर रणवीर सिंह 5 सेकंड में उसका वॉलेट चुरा के जा रहा है because why
यार
waste
मूर्ति चुराने से वॉलेट चोरी करना.
because फितरत तो फितरत है.
Fine, he steals it and
Yeah.
good. I think all of our endings were very solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was good. Thank you so much, Harshit, for taking time out and being
Thank
a part
you,
of
guys.
Has It Aged Well.
Yeah.
Please tell us where we can follow you, what we can look forward to, anything you want to plug.
I think because you have so many podcast listeners, I mean, one definitely. Yeah, because you're like the stars of the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
अरे कुछ भी क्या
Be
पहले
prepared for your Humans of Cinema page to blow up.
हम बचपन से ये प्रिपेयर कर रहे, ठीक है, ये शो आया इस साल है पर बचपन से है ना बस.
Please go ahead.
But yeah, so I mean, definitely I check out the Humans of Cinema podcast, which is a podcast that I do where I chat with filmmakers, actors about cinema, about their favorite films or the films that influence them. I talk a lot about that, about just their filmmaking process and all of that. So that's a podcast. I've had guests like Vishal Bhardwaj, Vikramaditya Motwane, and Rajkumar Rao, and some really really good conversations.
Yeah.
So that is definitely YouTube पर भी है, Humans of Cinema का ही चैनल है. उसके अलावा Instagram पे पेज है हमारा, वो तो आप प्लीज़ देखिए, और वहाँ पे हम लोग काफ़ी लिखते हैं फिल्म्स के बारे में. So please follow that. So yeah.
You post every day on the page?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Every day. Like our basic idea is that we do like one long format, proper well researched post every week.
Right.
And then on everyday basis जो थोड़ा सा low effort
Right.
type का कुछ करने की. Yeah, that's
Nice.
basically the idea.
Okay. And you want to give out your personal social media handles or
Oh,
direct
wow,
everyone
personal.
just to Humans of
Followers
Cinema?
बढ़ने वाले हैं मेरे.
Yeah.
It's Harshit Bansal 3 on Instagram. But I don't post anything there at all. It's like a...
Hey, you replied to my message to be on this show, so it works somehow. So yeah.
I mean, that's because, like somebody that I'm a fan of.
Oh,
he
man,
messaged
That's it from us. I'm not even going to let Urjita plug.
But
Please
yeah,
go ahead, Urjita.
अब्बास के चेहरे पे लाली खिल गई है, दिख रही है.
I think yeah, this is the second time after Sameera Reddy episode.
Oh, that's how you know he's a fan.
Exactly.
Nice.
I know the
Very nice.
Yeah.
OGs.
No, but I second that. Please follow Humans of Cinema. There's some great stuff out there, and
Thanks, sir. Thank you,
even the
boss.
podcast is really great. Urjita, where can people follow you?
You guys can subscribe to my YouTube channel @Urjitavani and also my Instagram @Urjitavani. Thank you so much. New videos coming out soon. Love you.
And you can follow me on Instagram. I'm AbbasMomin88, and on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, I'm also @AbbasMomin. Once again, thank you, Harshit.
Thank you guys.
Urjita.
Thank you, Urjita. Thank
And
you, boss.
we'll see you next week with a new film and a new guest. Till then, bye bye.
IVM.